All right, good evening. Prior to council meeting today, we'll have public comments from 4 individuals. Each individual will have 2 minutes. First on the agenda will be Scott Hicks, speaking on item 1.
Good evening. My name's Scott Hicks. I'm the state president for the Arkansas Police Benevolence Association.
Yes, sir.
We wanted to speak on agenda item 1, and I'm going to read this letter here we got. Arkansas Police Benevolence Association is a division of the Southern States PBA. It's a nonprofit organization dedicated to improving the law enforcement profession. PBA members are full-time retired employees of the various federal, state, county, and municipal law enforcement agencies. The South Central Arkansas chapter, which is what we're in, includes officers employed by the Pine Bluff Police Department. We have significant concerns about how the disciplinary actions are being administered at the Pine Bluff Police Department. Therefore, we would support the reinstatement of the Civil Service Commission for Pine Bluff employees, both the fire and police. The South Central chapter of the Arkansas PBA met on the 23rd of February and took a no confidence vote in Police Chief Jones, which this official vote by chapter members employed by the Pine Bluff Police Department reflects the chapter membership has no confidence in her leadership ability for the department. The chapter has made the decision to take this vote due to Chief Davis's inconsistent disciplinary practices and inability to follow department procedures. PBA's lack of confidence is with Chief Jones and her lack of leadership within the department. The chief on multiple occasions has shown that she does not enforce discipline equally or consistently. The lack of disciplinary consistency has become a huge barrier within the department. Therefore, the members of the South Central chapter of the Arkansas PBA feel that the citizens and members of the City Council should be made aware of this lack of trust and the confidence that the officers within the department have for Chief Jones. That the members of the Pine Bluff Police Department will continue to serve the citizens of Pine Bluff with the same care and dedication that they always have.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I do have copies of the letter if any council member doesn't have one.
Next, we have Jesse Turner speaking on item 1.
Mayor and council members, tonight the decision and the discussion around the Civil Service Commission should not be something that is taken lightly. This council righted a wrong a couple of weeks ago here in this chamber, and tonight we want you to right another wrong. We believe that abolishing the Civil Service Commission when it was abolished was wrong. And we are reaping the benefits of that now because there are things that are being done. There are questions that's being asked. We need independence when it comes down to public servants. We asked the question, what was wrong and what is wrong with the legislation that we had when the Civil Service Commission was in effect? We don't believe. We don't believe that we need to reinvent the wheel. We don't believe that we need to set the bar too high for people to serve on this commission. But we have to ask the question, the other legislation that established the Civil Service Commission, what is wrong with that legislation? The reason that new legislation needs to be adopted over the legislation that is already in place. So that is the question that we ask tonight, that you right the wrong for abolishing the Civil Service Commission a few years ago. I think that would be the best thing for this community, and that if we hire a consultant to help the police chief, it ought to be the same thing for the fire department. As a matter of fact, we ought to look at every agency in this city if we're going to try to bring someone in. But right the wrong. Right the wrong. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, Ms. Mary Jo McCourt, speaking on item 1. You have 2 minutes, ma'am.
Council, citizens, Mayor Reeder. I'm here to ask the council to reestablish the Civil Service Commission for our public servicemen and women, an impartial, non-political commission. As it stands now, a three-person panel that essentially works for the city is not really a buffer for these people. They put their lives on the line for this city every day and deserve the very best that can be offered to them. I disagree with Alderman Mays that the commission should be college graduates or people with experienced firefighting or police experience. My husband brought up the idea that the commission could be chosen from the voter rolls like jury pools. They're not professionals, but they study and they have people's lives in their hands. And I said the people could choose to serve or not, and it would be totally impartial and non-political. If a jury can be chosen from the voting polls, so could a commission. Mrs. Walker's idea of having a 10-panel member of 10 panels is not a good idea either, especially people picked by the council for the commission, because then everyone would be all friends of the council, and we want it impartial. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Mike Barbaroto, speaking on item 1.
Mayor Rita, city council members, Bluff citizens. I'm going to be brief. I just sort of echoing what everybody else is saying. I'd like to see us do something positive for Pine Bluff. I'm tired of seeing negative things in the media. I'd like to see us reestablish the Civil Service Commission. And instead of spending money on something else, we could save that money and we could spend it on other needs. We need an impartial team to deal with disciplinary issues within both the fire department and the police department, so that all the employees will get the same treatment, get the same benefits. So I know I'm preaching to the choir when I tell y'all that if our honorable mayor does not want to do this, y'all can override him. Y'all run the city. So he don't have to, he's not the law. He's the mayor. But
I just carry out the law, sir. Absolutely, I'm not the law.
y'all can override him if he don't do right.
Thank you, sir.
All righty. Once again, good afternoon and welcome to the Pine Bluff City Council meeting of March 5th, 2012. I'll call this meeting to order. And you have a roll call, please?
Alderman Hope.
Here.
Alderman Brumman.
Here.
Alderman Easterly.
Here.
Alderman Stout.
Here.
Alderman Walker.
Here.
Alderman Boyd.
Here.
Alderman Brown.
Here.
Alderman Mays.
Here.
Okay. Each of you have a copy of the minutes from February 21st, 2012. I'll entertain a motion. It would be moved and properly seconded that the minutes of February 21st, 2012 be approved as presented. All in favor of that motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. All right, the motion carries 8-0. All righty, Ms. Hookham, if you would, we're going to move into the committee reports with ordinances and resolutions.
Okay, ordinances and resolutions met prior to the meeting, and we're going to take action on the following items. On number 1, we'll read it one time. Number 2, we will complete. Number 3, we'll read one time. Number 4, we'll read one time. And 5 and 6 have been pulled by the sponsor. And we have 2 resolutions to add. One I just got, but we have 2 resolutions to add, and that is a resolution providing for placement of costs of correcting certain nuisances on tax books as delinquent taxes and collected as such. I move that we add this resolution to the agenda. Does everyone have a copy of that?
I don't have one, so.
Can you state that resolution, Ms. Hogan?
Resolution providing for placement of cost of correcting certain nuisances on tax books as delinquent taxes and collected as such.
Does anyone else need a copy?
Okay, that would be number 8. And then we'll have another resolution, I don't know if you have copies of this either. A resolution expressing the concern of the city council regarding the intent of the Arkansas Department of Community Correction locating a residential facility for paroled female sexual and violent offenders in the city limits of Pine Bluff.
I don't have a copy of that.
I just got this from Mr. Childress, and maybe someone could give us all copies, but I will discuss it.
Since we haven't had an opportunity to look at it, let's see if we can't bring that back before. And then, should that not go to the committee?
Well, what it is about, time is really sort of the essence, because, can I tell you what it's about?
Well, you tell the council, yes.
That the Arkansas Department of Community Punishment is planning on establishing a halfway house out near the women's unit that will house violent offenders and sexual predators. And because they are trying to parole them into this halfway house setting because they do not have families that will parole them to the families. So they are going to provide housing for them to be paroled into this housing. And in the meantime, they will be allowed to mingle into the community at will, because they will expect it according to the article. This was in the Gazette, but it was also one in the Pine Bluff Commercial, I think, on Saturday. And they said that they will be looking for jobs because they are expected to pay rent and provide for themselves.
Okay. Ms. Walker, why don't we send that to the committee that it should go to, because nobody else has had the option to read the resolution.
Okay.
And it would be unfair to each and every council member to ask to vote on some things.
Yes.
Speak on that?
Yes.
Well, I think it's important because we've had numerous of calls concerning that situation. I've contacted legal because I needed some information, and what I was trying to find out is whether or not they should have to go through the planning and commission before something like this is allowed. If they're allowed to go ahead and put that in there, if you change the use of the facilities, and this is what they're doing, that facility use won't be the same as it was before. So we've had this problem once before. If you allow these people in here, out here in the community, and they're running free, and we've been contacted, and we don't make no effort to do anything concerning it, then I think it's gonna cause some problems for this, for not just the city council, but it'll be a problem for the city and the community.
Yeah.
And I think it's something that we need to address pretty quickly, because I know that Alderman Mays have had several calls, and I've had plenty of calls concerning this, because I hadn't even read the article because I hadn't seen it.
Excuse me, I think what we probably should do is address it from a planning and zoning perspective.
But this is what this is.
Excuse me, this is what that is?
Yes.
Okay, but I mean, we also should have them come in and go before zoning, and we also should give them an opportunity to voice their side. This is the state, if I'm not mistaken, this is Arkansas Department of Corrections, right?
Yes, but Mayor Reedus,
Yes.
if you would read this is what this is saying, that we will notify them that they need to come in and go before the zoning, because they are expected to have this house, these houses
I don't think
up
we need
and
a
running
resolution
in April.
to notify them, to have them come before zoning.
Well, who will tell them?
We will tell them. You know, we will have the zoning official inform them that they need to come before zoning if that's a requirement.
But that needs to be done effective immediately, though.
Yes, that's what I said. We can do that
So
effectively.
you will get that done
Yes.
effectively immediately,
Yes.
because they are expected
Yes.
to have these houses up and running in April.
Yes.
May I say something?
Excuse me, yeah, Mr. Tucker? I don't know if you're aware of that, but if you would, let's get together on that and see if we can't contact the individual out there with the Arkansas Department of Correction. And we will also contact our state legislators to make them aware of what's going on.
I think
Because I'm
some
sure-
of them already
sure they
are
are.
because they're, just 1 second, Alderman, and because actually some members in the community got involved. Mr. Earl Mr. Earl and Ora Mays are the ones that first brought it to my attention because they saw it in the Gazette, which they have petitions that they have taken out to the churches and things like that. And she bought me a copy, and it is some names where you can, anyone wishing to sign can. And, but so I'm just following up to assist them because they are she's really the one that caught it.
Okay, yes, sir.
Yes, sir, Mayor. Alderman Steps and myself, we communicated about that, and I've referred Ms. Mays them to Lakeisha Hill already, and she's looking into it. And
No.
May I finish? And they're getting the petition up, and we're looking at having a town hall meeting in the 4th Ward on the west side. That's what they're getting up now, and they'll give you more information about that soon.
Okay, well, I mean, that's fine. You know, what we need to do is communicate with the state to make sure that,
They've already talked with Ephraim and
yeah,
Steph.
well, I'm speaking of the Department of Correction officials. We will get in touch with them and express the concerns of the community. Okay.
I think that's a good thing to do, but somebody had to bring it to your attention because most people was not even cognizant of the fact that they were out there, and they would have roosted at home before we found out.
Is the petition for or against it?
Yeah, it's against.
Yes.
Everything's in motion, though, I guarantee you.
Excuse me,
No,
Mr.
not quite.
Excuse me a second. Mr. Eastwood.
My understanding was that also that they can come and go, but there's no checks and balances with anybody in the organization in the house that checks them in at night, makes sure they're there. So if they go missing, they're AWOL or anything, there's no protections for the citizens to, to send out alert to start looking for them or anything. It's my understanding. So some of those things, I mean, that's not a good way to run that type of an operation. I would.
Yeah, well, I think the Arkansas Department of Correction should come before and answer to what's being done. So we'll get to work on that immediately.
Well, we commend our citizens for bringing that to our attention.
Absolutely.
Because she worked,
Thank
she and her husband worked real hard on
Yeah,
it.
they did.
All righty.
So we will not be reading that tonight.
Okay.
But that's fine, we got it discussed. and so
All right.
That's what we needed.
Okay, that's all I have, sir.
On number 8, the one that you were,
Oh, right.
the resolution for placing cost of correction certain nuisance on the tax books. We did get a motion second. Roll call, please.
Alderman Hooker.
Aye.
Alderman Drummond. Alderman Easterly. Alderman Steps.
Aye.
Alderman Walker.
Aye.
Alderman Boyd. Alderman Brown. Alderman Mays.
Okay, a resolution providing for placement of costs of correcting certain nuisance on tax books as delinquent taxes and collecting and such will be number 8. All right, thank you. Okay, Ms. Hooker? The young lady. Yes. Okay. All righty. We have a young lady within the community that wanted to make a presentation tonight regarding the International Stand Up to Bullying Day. She wanted to do a video, although they were late here, I don't think we're going to have an opportunity to do the video. So if Mrs. Legacy Paris, if you would, please come forth. I thought I saw her come in. Legacy Paris. Okay.
I have this one. It's a little younger than I wanted.
Hi, Ms. Paris, if you would, we won't have time for your video, so if you would, just please share with us your proposal.
How long is the video?
The video's only 2.5 minutes, but it hadn't been set up. That's the problem we have. They got here a little late to set it up. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. My proposal is for the city of Pine Bluff.
Why don't you identify yourself and tell them what school you go to and things of that nature, please?
My name is Legacy Paris. I go to St. Joseph Catholic School. And I am talking to you about bullying today. March 30th is known as International Stand Up to Bullying Day, or all around the world. and I would like Pine Bluff to celebrate it from here on forward. I would like the international effort called International Stand Up to Bullying Day to be celebrated here in Pine Bluff. This day was started by 2 high school boys in Nova Scotia, a province in Canada. They saw a kid at school being bullied because he was wearing a pink polo shirt. So the boys wore pink shirts to school the next day to support the boy who was getting bullied. Soon everybody in the school was wearing pink. This trend spread far and wide to the entire world to become an international effort to stop bullying. If you want to know more about that, you can visit www.standupday.com. This day is very important to me because ever since I was a little kid, I got bullied by a lot of kids at school because of my hair or the way I dress or just my personality. And I know the feeling of going to school every single day not knowing what terrible things may happen to you next. And I want to prevent this feeling as much as possible for every kid in Pine Bluff in public or private school. So I say to you, Mr. Reedus, and while it's still lingering in your head, will you please consider having us celebrate it on March 30th this year?
When is that date again?
March 30th.
March 30th. Right, and March 30th is celebrated around the world as International Stand Up to Bullying Day. Yes. Okay.
Special that you plan to do that day?
See, the way it's celebrated is you wear pink shirts. It's like a day for pink. And I know pink is usually, in America, it's usually represented by breast cancer, but in some parts of the world, it's identified as this day, as celebrating this day. So, like, go crazy with wearing pink.
Okay.
Did we do something like this last year with the chief? Did we do this?
That was breast cancer.
Breast cancer, okay.
Yes.
Mayor Reed,
Yes, ma'am.
is there a possibility at the next meeting that she could come and make her presentation again where she could show it?
Unfortunately, she'll be out of town the next meeting. But what we will do, is that not right, ma'am?
Yes, it's my birthday.
Yep, that's her birthday. She said she'll be out of town. And it's spring break. But what we will do is
Maybe the next one is.
put forth a resolution that the council can vote on next day, which will be in time for March 30th. And I think each and every member of this community understands the importance of standing up to bullying. And we will do the homework on it and present it, a resolution to the council, and hopefully we'll have that pass. And we also will look at wearing pink on March 30th. All citizens will put that out. Yes, ma'am.
First of all, I'd like to commend you for coming up and making your presentation.
Yes.
And I'd also like to say, we need to do something, and I don't know exactly what, other than saying that we are recognizing that day, because bullying has become a problem in our schools. And I know that this municipality actually has nothing to do with the schools, but we need to probably do something along these lines, as well as discipline in the schools, because bullying is just downright outrageous. That someone would bully you because you're studying, somebody would bully you because you got some glasses on and you look like a nerd or whatever they call it. And there are just too many children that's afraid to go to school, and this is happening in the elementary school.
Yes.
So what we can do, I don't exactly know, but we really need to do something other than wear ribbons and recognize the day. Maybe some of us need to go into these schools and volunteer and see what's going on with our babies.
Okay. Ms. Parrish, thank you very much for that very informative presentation. We appreciate it so much. And we will give you an opportunity to look at the legislation as we present it to council prior to you leaving. And hopefully we will vote to say, yes, we support the International Day of Stand Up to Bullying. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. All righty. Okay, Mrs. Holcomb, did we go through ordinances and resolutions? Yes, we went through that. Okay. Ways and Means, Mr. Brummett.
Yes, Mayor. The Ways and Means Committee met prior to the meeting. We have two budget adjustments that you should have copies of. The first one is from the Police Department. It's for the retirement with 720 hours of accumulated sick leave for a lieutenant within the department. The total amount is $17,085.60. And this is to be handled within the department, so there's no impact on the general fund. I move we accept this budget.
It's been moved and properly second that a budget adjustment in the amount of $17,085 to handle retirement accumulation of sick leave within the police department. The funds will come out of the police department's budget, so there's no impact to undesignated funds. Are there any questions? Hearing none, all in favor of the adjustment as presented, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries 8-0.
The second one is from the Inspection Department. It's monies to fund the pictometry imaging survey payment for 2012. The total amount is that will come from undesignated funds is $6,357. There are actually, as you will see in the document, 5 entities that will be sharing in the cost of this: wastewater utility, street department, police department, fire department, inspection, and zoning. The actual impact on each of their budgets is $2,119. And I move we accept this budget adjustment based on the ordinance number 3 being passed tonight, which concerns this.
Second.
I'm sorry, ordinance number 3.
Number 2.
Number 2.
Oh, number 2, okay. All righty. Did we get a second?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's been moved and properly second that a budget adjustment in the amount of, well, actually $6,357 to fund pictometry imaging survey payment for the year 2012. Floor is open for discussion.
Discuss it right now, dude.
Pardon?
We'll not discuss it right now.
Well, you can't.
You can if you want to, if you've got a discussion about anything as far as the adjustment. If not,
Okay, I understand that wastewater funds would be separate, but with the street, police, and fire and zoning, what part of their budget would that come from?
If you see the negative 2019, that is the street department's portion, and it's coming out of the group insurance. The other 3 are basically coming out of undesignated funds for the first year. From each year afterwards, they will be included within their budgets.
That increase their budget, or it's going?
Well, it will be added to their budget, it's 2119, so that they can pay their payment for this year.
So basically, it's still undesignated funds.
Yes, ma'am.
well,
6,000 of
for
it.
the first payment this year because of the fact that
It would
it
just
wasn't
be,
put
it
in
would
last
just
year's
be
budget.
designated.
Yeah, but
next
it'd
time.
still be undesignated funds if they add that 2,200, at 2,100.
Yes,
Plus what they already have, it's still coming from somewhere undesignated.
right.
The total amount's $10,595, but of that, $6,357 will come from undesignated funds for the first year.
Are there any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposes? The motion carries 8-0.
Mayor, I move that we pay the bills that the city owes.
It's been moved and properly seconded that the bills of the city be paid. All in favor of that motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, the motion carries 8-0. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Brummett.
May I make one comment in regard to this?
Which one is that, ma'am?
Lieutenant Eubanks, retired.
You don't have to use the name or anything.
Okay, but anyway, well, I'm really sorry to see him retire, and I know, people have to go sometime or another, but he had a very important part within the police department as part of a certain team that we need, and so I regret seeing him go.
I guess it's okay. You called his name up, but it was a good thing.
Yeah.
Thank you. All righty. Ms. Walker, Economic and Community Development.
No report, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Mays, Public Health and Welfare.
We didn't have a meeting, sir, but I got a ton of calls about the halfway house. And also, I got a lot of calls about the citizens. They asked me about, to the council, about we putting pressure on them to tear their houses down, and the buildings downtown, the owners are not being pressured. So I'm gonna just leave it out there just like that.
Thank you, sir. Public Health and Welfare, that's Mr. Mays. Public Works, Alderman Boyd.
No report, Mayor.
Thank you, sir.
While we're on Public Works, I did tour the Chester Hines. My grandson and I toured Chester Hines to see what was going on, and there's some significant progress is being made. I can't name everything that's being done, but it looks a lot better. And Coach, what's her name? Her name escapes me. The director over there greeted us with open arms and took us on a tour to see what was being done. And the work is great, that we will have a safe, sanitary place for our children to play in, study in, or do whatever.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Oakham. Development and Planning, Mr. Steps.
No report, Mayor.
Okay. Mr. Brown, Traffic and Aviation.
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Administration, Mr. Easterly.
No report, Mayor.
Ms. Oakham, Public Safety.
Okay, Public Safety Committee met at 4 o'clock with all committee members present, and we we talked about 4 pieces of legislation, and that was number 1 and number 3, and of course the sponsors pulling numbers for 5 and 6, but we recommended to send these ordinances on to the council. I think there was a recommendation, a due pass on number 1 by 2 people. Is that right? Did you all say that? Yeah. Okay, I just want to have it right. And then some of the other concerns, they brought their monthly report. She has a handout about AmeriCorps, and there are some crime statistics that indicate that crime is down. And then we had the fire department. They produced their monthly report. And both of the monthly reports are very well structured. And each person does have a copy of the monthly report. District Court Division 2 provided, she was not able to be here, but she did send a written report, as well as animal control. Does everyone have copies of these, all of these? Well, each council member should have a copy of the police department monthly report, the fire department's monthly report, District Court Division 2, as well as animal control. All right, Reverend Turner reported for the week, but he said they can still say weed and seed, but it is formally, but you have to say formally weed and seed. So he will be reporting on the crime activities in that particular area. Okay, under the public, we had some public comments. We had 2 people to come. We have a representative from GEMS, which is a ambulance service, to come. And he has been here at least 2 or 3 times, and I don't think he's gotten a clear answer on what he's proposing to do. The committee as a whole said that, we said that we were not interested in another ambulance service. However, that wasn't the entire council. So what is the recommendation of the council?
Well, until somebody sponsors something, brings it before the council, there's nothing for us to do.
Well,
There's
no
action on the floor.
Okay, I agree, but the reason I'm saying we need to either tell him something, this is about his 4th trip he's made to talk about it, and I think he's under the school of thought that it may happen.
So let me ask the the city council to provide us with some information regarding that at the next meeting as to how the legislation is written up now and what the plan of action should be or can be at this particular point in time.
We'll do that.
Well, that sounds good to me, because I don't think he should have to come again
We
and
owe-
again and again.
I agree. We owe him an
to-
answer.
We owe him an answer.
Yes, or at least some sense of direction as to what his approach should be.
Right.
And we'll provide that to you, sir, at the next council meeting. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Scott Hicks, who's representing the Benevolent Police, their organization is in support of the Civil Service Commission, and they had a no vote of confidence for the chief. And that's all I have for public safety.
Thank you. All righty. We also have a proclamation here that will be presented to the AmeriCorps group recognizing AmeriCorps Week. And if you would, Mrs. Van Tongelen, is she here? And all the AmeriCorps cadets? If you all would, please come forward now.
Hang what you got.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Van Tongelen, I'm going to read this on behalf of the Pine Bluff City Council. To all whom these presents shall come, greetings. Whereas, excuse me, each year during AmeriCorps Week, we recognize the commitment of AmeriCorps members by highlighting the extraordinary impact they make across our nation every day. This year, AmeriCorps Week will take place from Saturday, May 10th through Sunday, Saturday, March 10th through Sunday, March 18th, 2012. And whereas the theme this year, AmeriCorps Works, communicates the value and effectiveness of AmeriCorps while providing an overarching framework to communicate AmeriCorps' bottom line return on investment for the recipient of services, the people we serve, and the larger community and nation as a whole. And whereas every day across the nation, AmeriCorps members are tackling America's toughest problems in disaster services, economic opportunities, education, environmental stewardship, healthy futures, veterans and military families, and whereas some of the benefits of services, as an AmeriCorps member, you gain new skills and experiences. And you will also find the tremendous satisfaction that comes from helping others. In addition, full-time members who complete their service earn an AmeriCorps Education Award to pay for college, graduate school, or to pay back qualified student loans. Some AmeriCorps members may have received a modest living allowance during their term of service. Now therefore I, Carl A. Reedus Jr., Mayor of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, do hereby proclaim March 10th through the 18th in the year of our Lord 2012 as AmeriCorps Week 2012 in the city of Pine Bluff, and in doing so, ask all citizens to please join in recognizing these very special individuals and this very special week. If you would, let's give our AmeriCorps cadets a hand, please. Thank you. Mrs. Van Tongelen, you can present this to you, please. We thank you for your leadership qualities and the skills that you have developed. Thank you very much. Okay. All right. All righty. Next, I'll present the State of the City Address 2012. I did present it last week at the Rotary meeting held last Thursday, where we had in excess of 100-plus people in attendance. So I'm going to try and give basically a synopsis of what the state of the city is on this time, in essence of time. We've had a full day, so I'll try and get through.
Let's have recess right now.
All righty. Let me thank all of you for attending this council meeting. And let me begin by stating that and saying that it's been a privilege and a humbling experience to serve as your mayor for the past 7 years, and also to work together with this council in order to serve the citizens of Pine Bluff. I am very optimistic that our city will thrive in spite of the challenges we faced in moving forward for the year 2012. But my trust is in the future of Pine Bluff and in the leadership of our city. Certainly, Pine Bluff did not become the city it is today by accident. Our successes and prosperity is a result of a long history of community leaders and caring citizens like each and every one of you, whose vision for the future has become a reality. I want to take this opportunity to say thanks to all our city employees who provided exceptional service this past year to the citizens of Pine Bluff. They continually gave a daily 110% effort in all the things that they do. We all are committed to our city and the people who live, work, educate, and raise their families in this community. Like any municipality, we provide standard municipal services such as public safety, sanitation, and street maintenance. But on February 8th, 2011, we reached a milestone in our community when for 28 years we have been basically managing our budget on a 1 cent local option sales tax. But our citizens reached a milestone when they passed what we coin as a penny for progress, a 1 cent sales tax incentives that was passed where we had 5/8 cents for capital improvement and 3/8 cents for job incentives. That proves that our residents and businesses care about this community and are willing to take part in improving our quality of life. Together, we are building a great future for citizens of this community and for generations to come. I'll take a few moments to discuss some of the successes that we had in 2011. The Pine Bluff Fire and Emergency Services continue to honor its commitment of providing high-quality, responsive services that promote the safety, health, and welfare of all citizens. In 2011, the fire department aggressively sought out grant funds to compensate for the tough economy that was being faced by all. And as a result, the fire department was awarded the FEMA Ike 1 disaster grant totaling $95,000. We received another $90,000 from the Assistant to Firefighters grant and $475,000 from the SAFER grant, which is the Staff for Adequate Fire and Emergency Responses. We were able to hire 6 additional firefighters with that grant. In addition, the Pine Bluff Fire and Emergency Services received a $10,000 grant that was administered by the Pine Bluff Area Community Foundation, which was made possible through a grant from Jefferson Regional Medical Center. So total dollars received in grants for the fire department last year was $670,000. Also, the Pine Bluff Fire and Emergency Services held its first annual Citizens Fire Academy. This initiative gave us an opportunity to provide the citizens of Pine Bluff with a vivid picture of the services provided by the men and women of the Pine Bluff Fire and Emergency Services by sharing their knowledge of a firefighter's job core functions with classroom instruction, hands-on participation, and live demonstrations. As a result of that tax initiative, the Penny for Progress, funds from the tax will allow the department to make strategic purchases that will improve their equipment, facilities, training, and technology, resulting in the ability for our firefighters to respond to emergencies with a higher level of efficiency. Through this tax, the department will replace a fire station built in 1956 with a state-of-the-art facility capable of hiring modern equipment and a diverse workforce. 3 new custom-built pumper trucks have been ordered and will be received as early as the fourth quarter 2012. We will purchase a hazardous material search and rescue vehicle. There will be remodeling of 2 fire stations, station number 2 on Pullen Street and number 6 on Dollaway Road. And we will upgrade all of our emergency operational tools and equipment. Within the police department, in the comparison of crime for the year 2010 and 2011, there is some good news. With the exception of murder and burglary, all other crime against persons and crime against property were down. In the crime against persons category, assaults, aggravated assaults were down approximately 4%. Rapes and attempted rapes were decreased by 15%, as well as a decrease in robberies by 11%. In the crime against property category, burglaries were up 14%. However, motor vehicle thefts were down 17%, and all other thefts decreased 9%. The total comparison of crime between the year 2010 and 2011 showed a decrease of approximately 417 crimes overall, which is a yearly decrease of 6.82% for the year 2011. Also, in August 2011, Chief Brenda Davis Jones authorized the establishment of a crime suppression unit. And since this unit's inception, it was instrumental in the reduction of crime for the year, that 6.82%. As you've seen earlier, we were the only municipality in the state of Arkansas that was awarded the AmeriCorps grant. This program offered 9 individuals an opportunity for community services and giving them a living stipend and an education award. The fire department reached its full staffing level in 2011 by hiring 7 additional officers that will be paid for through the COPS hiring grant. That grant allowed us to increase our authorized level to 151 officers. That's the highest that the city of Pine Bluff has ever had. By hiring those 7 additional officers, we were able to put them within the budget. As opposed to losing those officers after 3 years, we will continue to fund those officers and continue to have them as part of our force. One other very successful initiative is the Text a Tip program, which was introduced in the fourth quarter of last year and implemented in January of this year. You can just text 274-637. Your name and number will remain anonymous. This program has been very much and heavily used by young people and others who are very much into the technology. It helps our police department fight crime. This year, the Department of Parks and Tourism Outdoor Recreation Grant was approved with matching funds totaling $225,000. A total amount of $450,000 will be used to assist in the development, $450,000 rather, will be used to assist in the development of restroom facilities, ball field lighting, replacing playground equipment at all at Townsend Park, and improving the walkway and walking trail at Lake Saracen. With the city's 20% match, Parks and Rec received a grant of about $157,000 from the Highway Enhancement Program. Also, we applied for and received $100,000, which was no match, in order to build a wildlife observation bridge through the outdoor recreation grants from the Parks and Tourism. And as all of you know, we're currently working toward completing Saracen Walking Trail, where it would be a 5-mile trail starting at Lake Saracen and coming all the way around University Drive up Pullen Street and ending right there at Lake Saracen. As a result of the 5/8-cent city sales tax, we stand on the threshold of what may be one of the most exciting developments in our city's history. Pine Bluff's very own splash park and a multi-purpose community center with an aquatic center. The city sales tax revenue, excluding the 5/8-cent sales tax, in the year 2011 amounted to approximately $13 million, which was $34,000 above what we budgeted, but $635,000 below our 2010 amount. And this was due to the loss of jobs and activities at the Pine Bluff Arsenal. The city received approximately $1.4 million of revenue from the 5/8 cents sales tax in the last 4 months of 2011. Of that amount, $437,000 was appropriated to projects, which included $250,000 the city put up as a match to the $1.5 million grant to bury the utilities along University Drive, $85,000 for the American Firefighters Association and airport grant matches, and $60,000 for the rehabilitation and development of Chester Hines Youth Center, and also approximately $43,000 to fund the Barricade Street Plaza, Southeast Arkansas Arts Center flooring, and the juvenile courts funding. The remaining $1 million received in 2011 from the 5/8 cent sales tax revenue was set aside for the city's reserve fund, which now totals $3.1 million. A bond issue funding of $9 million of the $20 million of projects that will be authorized, that was authorized by voters on the 2011 sales tax, was sold at a very good rate of 3.90. This project included $3.6 million of equipment and $5.4 million of facilities improvements for the Fire, Street, Police, and Parks and Rec Commission. So far today, a total of $2.6 million of equipment has been purchased today, and plans are well underway for the completion of the projects with the assistance of a project manager, namely ETC Engineers. This project management firm is for all of our bond projects. And the remaining $10 million of projects are expected to be funded in 2 bond issues. A bond issue in 2012 of approximately $4 million for drainage, sewage, sewer, animal shelter, and street projects, and a projected 2013 issue of $6 million for the community center and aquatic center. Within our transit department, 2011 was a very good year. In September, 4 new handicap accessible buses were delivered and put into use for the citizens of Pine Bluff. The new buses sport the new look and our new logo. The buses are painted white with a red swoop, and the buses also have the city branding of Ride the Bluff. In the addition to the full-size buses, a new 15-passenger van was added to the fleet to assist with transportation. All the vehicles by the transit department are being painted to brand the new bus design. And these new buses have improved efficiency as well as increased the awareness of the transit system. The Animal Control Department is currently analyzing and receiving organizational structures. We are working collectively with the county in order to create a brand-new, state-of-the-art animal services department and build a new facility. We're also working with our Humane Society to improve pet adoption procedures and enhance the city's animal shelter. The goal is to get to a no-kill policy that is not to euthanize any animals. The Pine Bluff Airport and Aviation Commission completed its pavement rehabilitation project on the airport runway. This project total cost was approximately $420,000 and was funded with a 95% grant from the Federal Aviation Administration and a 5% grant from the Arkansas Department of Aeronautics. So as you see, this project was funded 100% at no cost to the city of Pine Bluff. Also, the commission has started on the terminal building renovation project. This is an 80-20 grant that we received from the Arkansas Department of Aeronautics. This project cost is about $440,000, and it will expect to take about 4 to 6 months to complete. But once it's complete, this city will have a state-of-the-art airport facility that will serve the city of Pine Bluff for many years to come. Our street department continued to maintain approximately 400 miles of paved 400 miles of paved streets in the city of Pine Bluff. The street department also upgraded traffic signals at University Avenue and Martha Mitchell Expressway, the Pines Mall Drive and Harding Avenue, and installed new traffic signals at Walnut Street and Martha Mitchell Expressway, Convention Center Drive and Martha Mitchell, and Ohio Street and Harding Avenue. Also, 6 Saturdays were used to help pick up limbs and debris for property owners and citizens in the community as part of the effort to help keep our city clean. The Boone Murphy House. We were successful in receiving a grant from the Arkansas Historic Preservation Program in order that we can help celebrate the Civil War sesquicentennial celebration. This will provide us with the Civil War preservation of the Boone Murphy House. And also we will place a Civil War historic marker in front of the Boone Murphy House, detailing its historic significance as the Union Army headquarters during the federal occupation in Pine Bluff. Also, the Barracue Plaza had a grand opening in June of 2011, and we will continue to work toward future expansion of this particular plaza. The Sanger Theater Task Force. This task force, in working with the Inspection and Zoning Department, spearheaded an opportunity to save the Sanger Theater. Approximately $30,000 was raised from private citizens, local foundations, and the state to repair the flat roof portion of the Sanger, where water was infiltrating the building from the roof. But also, the citizens of Pine Bluff, through a federal grant, provided $15,000 to help with the renovation of that roof. The Economic and Community Development Department, the primary objective of the Economic and Community Development Department is to assist in improving the city's low to moderate income areas and business district, as well as stimulating and supporting economic development by providing technical assistance in the area of public works, housing, economic development, community relations, and partnerships, and helping to serve the homeless within the 14-county area. We are working on phase 1 of Pitch Drain, one of the main drains through the city, where we have completed the engineering design and the site acquisition between Main and Olive Street. This particular area, which is a watershed drain that encompasses an area between Main and Olive, is one of the main drainage systems within the city. With a HUD disaster grant of $881,000, we're looking to help drainage improvement along this drainage canal and drainage throughout the community. Upon completion of all phases, this activity will eliminate flooding conditions in the area bordered by Alabama Street, Chestnut Street, 20th and 22nd Avenue. Housing rehabilitation. The city assisted with the rehabilitation of 20 single-family owner-occupied housing units for residents of Pine Bluff. This activity was carried out on a citywide basis. In addition, during the same time period, we assist with the construction of 3 new residential units that were sold to eligible home buyers within a 90-day time frame after completion. The city, through the Home Buyers Assistance Program, assisted 9 families to become new homeowners within our community. Those homes had a collective value of approximately $552,000 and served as a means of enhancing the neighborhood where they are located. During the year of 2011, the Permanent Housing Program received approximately $237,000 in competitive grant funds to assist persons with specific disabilities and mental illnesses. The department provided comprehensive services to approximately 44 persons through this grant. The city received a $1.2 million appropriation to support burying the electrical utility lines along University Drive. These funds, as mentioned earlier, was leveraged by additional $250,000 contributed by the city, $50,000 from the Arkansas Economic Development Commission, and $56,000 from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. This entire project, which is slated to cost approximately $8.5 million, will include a 5-lane roadway with sidewalks, drainage, curbs, and gutters for the 1.2-mile stretch from Martha Mitchell out to the new Surrey Hunter Baseball Stadium. This is a project that's in partnership with the State Highway and Transportation Department, University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, our local utility companies, and businesses in the area. The Casa Women's Shelter broke ground on its new facility on August 2nd, 2011. The shelter provided housing for homeless women who have been victims of domestic violence. The city of Pine Bluff, with its citizens, participated as a contributor by donating $100,000 in the year 2011. An additional $50,000 is scheduled to be donated in 2012. These funds all will go toward the facility's development and operations. We also partnered with UAPB Economic Research and Development Center to develop a small business revolving loan fund. Since March of 2011, this fund contributed its entire loan pool of $140,000 to small businesses within the community. By January 2012, these businesses had generated over $493,000 in sales with a consolidated net income of 25% return on investment. The business generated approximately $25,000 in sales tax revenues during that same period. There were also 19 jobs retained by these participating businesses, and 7 of the businesses are startups and the others are expansions. Within the University Park neighborhood revitalization area, the city of Pine Bluff received a technical assistance grant from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development regarding the completion of a project development plan, including financing and scheduling for its approved University Park neighborhood revitalization strategy area. We were one of the few cities in this nation to have the College of Experts provide the technical assistance, which is a group that's funded through HUD to come in and help the city and UAPB's ERDC identify specific feasible development projects for that neighborhood. These projects will be prioritized for funding to help develop the University Park neighborhood. All righty. As most of you probably saw the other day, we received a refund of about $19,000 through the Energy Efficiency Conservation Block Grant. Energy cost is an enormous expense for our city and is a huge line item within our city's budget. But to significantly reduce our energy costs and improve energy efficiency, the city of Pine Bluff participated in the Entergy Arkansas City Smart program, which is a no-cost program that identified energy efficiency opportunities in public buildings. Over the next 7 years, the city is expected to receive a savings of approximately $576,000 with the projects that were implemented from our energy master plan. Working with Energy Arkansas City Smart program, we identified specific energy reduction projects. We did weatherization, lighting upgrades, reflective roof repairs or replacement, fire training academy physical fitness area renovation, traffic signals, and did building retrofits. This $502,000 Department of Energy grant financed the energy reduction projects. All righty. I hope you've been encouraged as much as I've been encouraged, and our employees, by the increased number of positive comments our city is receiving, not only from our own residents, but from those outside of our city as well. Not a week goes by that someone does not mention to me and others how the overall attitude in our city is continuing to improve. In conclusion, this year, the City Council, the city's administration, department heads will work even harder to serve the citizens of our community in a way that will honor the taxpayers and all the citizens with the highest standard of work that we could possibly give. Together, Let us ensure a community that offers our children a place to fulfill their highest hopes, their aspirations, and all of their dreams. Pine Bluff is our city. So let's all continue to work toward the future that is so important for our community. Thank you, and thank you for your attention.
I have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
It sounds like I enjoyed hearing that. But it's building up planks to a platform. My question is, does everyone who's up for reelection have the right to use those planks for their platform?
Mrs. Oaken, excuse me, Mrs. Oaken, this is accomplishments that were done by the employees of the cities of Pine Bluff. I've given this for 7 years, I'm sorry, for 7 years. So I don't think that that's a plank or a platform for anything, none whatsoever.
But in reelection, would a council member be in its own right to list those as accomplishments?
Well, that's up to them, Ms. Holcomb. I have no doubt about that. That's up to them. And moving right on. Presentate of proposed ordinances and resolutions.
You did not answer.
Please move with that.
You did not answer my question.
I did answer to the best of my ability. To the best of my ability.
I think it's a very clever question, and you didn't answer it.
All right, good.
I'll go on with ordinances and resolutions. If you want some planks in your platform,
We're gonna use it.
there they are, right up there.
Oh, you asked, can council members use? Council
Yes,
members
sir.
participated in this,
Okay.
absolutely. From a policy
Are
perspective.
those your planks?
Yes, absolutely, from a policy perspective.
Okay,
Yes.
all right.
Keep
thank
in mind, council sets policy. I execute and carry out the policy set by the council.
Well, I just want to.
That's the rule.
I just want them to understand that.
That's the
you
rule.
can use those planks.
None of this could be done without any council member participating in this.
All right.
And I'm glad you're willing and think enough of it to use it.
Yes, sir. Because we did it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
No doubt about that.
Is there a place that people can go get a copy of that, Mayor?
We're going to put it on the website.
That's cool.
Yes.
Okay, we have a ordinance establishing a board of civil service commissioners for the police and fire departments of the city of Pine Bluff, Arkansas for the first reading.
An ordinance establishing a board of civil service commissioners for the police and fire departments of the city of Pine Bluff, Arkansas.
Place it on the calendar. It has been to committee.
Okay.
Okay. Number 2, an ordinance waiving competitive bidding and authorizing the execution of a contract with the Pictometry International Corporation and declaring an emergency up for the first reading.
An ordinance waiving competitive bidding and authorizing the execution of a contract with Pictometry International Corporation and declaring an emergency.
Move to suspend the rules and place the ordinance on second reading.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Hawkins.
Aye.
Alderman Brunette.
Aye.
Alderman Easterly.
Aye.
Alderman Stout.
Aye.
Alderman Walker.
No.
Alderman Boyd.
Aye.
Alderman Brown.
Aye.
Alderman Bates.
An ordinance waiving competitive bidding and authorizing the execution of a contract with Pictometry International Corporation and declaring an emergency.
Move to further suspend the rules and place the ordinance on third and final reading.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Hawkins.
Aye.
Alderman Brunette.
Aye.
Alderman Easterly.
Aye.
Alderman Stout.
Aye.
Alderman Walker.
No.
Alderman Boyd.
Aye.
Alderman Brown.
Aye.
Alderman Bates.
An ordinance waiving competitive bidding and authorizing the execution of a contract with Pictometry International Corporation and declaring an emergency.
Move for adoption.
It's been moved and properly second that an ordinance waiving competitive bidding and authorizing the execution of a contract with Pictometry International Corporation and declaring an emergency. Floor is open for discussion.
Mayor, I'd like to ask Mr. Tucker, when he get a minute, you can go ahead.
The word waiving, bidding, explain that.
They're the only available source for this particular thing.
Yes. Mr. Tucker?
Maybe you could give an overview of what's
Okay.
going on.
Addressing Alderman Brown's question first.
Excuse me, if the fire department and representative from the police department would like to participate, please come forward. Is anyone here from wastewater?
No, they were unable to make it. Pictometry, the company, owns in excess of 30 proprietary patents on the various technologies they use in their software and in their photographic image capturing systems. It's fairly technical and fairly complex, and right now, at least, they're the only company doing it.
The only one.
Only one. So, in brief, shortly, it's an aerial photography service that we're looking to get for the city that would shoot not just straight down, but also sideways shots, so that the user can move around the building and look at it from various sides, can estimate its height, can measure, not estimate, can measure exactly, practically, its height, length and width as well with the software. It's for use in planning fire and police visits to buildings, use in estimating road and other physical capital improvement projects, and for planning purposes also provides very crisp, up-to-date, and current aerial photography for the city. It's just good information for the city policymakers to have. And we've got 5 departments that are, that are supporting this with monies in years 2 and 3: police, fire, street, inspection, and wastewater. As speaking for my department, inspection, we're very eager to have this data to work with planning issues and also zoning issues. Any other questions?
Thank you, sir. Any other questions? Questions of Mr. Tucker?
Line 18.
I don't have a copy of the resolution. It's not the fact that it would be impractical to engage in competitive bidding. There is no competitor with this product on the market right now that we can go for. It's a proprietary product.
What was that website, Robert, that?
I believe it's simply pictometry.com. Earlier in the meeting, I didn't have a full list of the entities in Arkansas that currently are customers of Pictometry.
You have that now?
I've got 13 counties: Baxter, Marion, Benton, Washington, Crawford, Sebastian, Logan, Johnson, Pulaski, Union, Miller, and Cross. And they've also engaged with 3 separate cities: City of Mountain Home, Clarksville, and Harrison.
Harrison's in Sebastian County. What is it?
I'm not sure what, no, Sebastian is Fort Smith.
Northwest Arkansas.
Yeah.
Northwest, yes.
Within those counties, you have,
Sebastian County is where Fort Smith is located.
right,
Okay, well, that's up there too,
Yes.
yeah.
up north. Yeah, up north.
Any additional questions?
So you're saying that they are the only one within what area that does it?
Within Arkansas that are using it currently. As part of our vetting process for the company, we got lists, we asked for a list of their clients, and I contacted at least half of them, probably more than half.
Okay, and they are located where?
Well, the Arkansas office of Pictometry is located, I believe, in Rogers. Their corporate headquarters, however, is located in New York State. They do this from coast to coast.
Pictometry is located in Rochester, New York.
Is it Rochester? I'd forgotten.
Prior to this meeting, Ms. Walker did make a statement about privacy. I understand what Ms. Walker was talking about. I won't let my vote hold it up, but I do understand there may be a privacy issue. I don't know how to pinpoint it, but it may be one.
It's not been raised officially, that I've heard elsewhere.
Any additional questions?
The term of this contract is 6 years.
Term is 3 years with an option.
With an option to renew for another 3.
Okay. It says term of contract 6 years, in term of license 3 years.
Then you have an option not to renew
So
the
which
last
is it?
3
Which
years.
is it? You said, what, man?
You have an option not to renew the last 3 years, the 3 years after, first 3 years.
Is that in this contract?
Yeah, what page is that again, Joe?
It's in the beginning, the first page.
I believe the specific section is, I think it's page 5, section B, the out clause.
payment's provided for 3 years, so unless we pay them for more than 3, they're not gonna give us anything after that. That may be a topographical error. We'll address that if it is.
Just insert it, let us,
Because the license is only 3 years, the contract is only 3 years. But if we renew, we'll have another 3-year license and a 3-year contract, if it's renewed.
That need to be inserted?
Pardon me?
Does that need to be inserted?
So
I
the
think
term-
that is in there.
So the term of contract is 3 years instead of 6, correct? Mr. Tucker?
The first flight has 3 years to pay for it. And then if we choose to engage them for the second flight, and then we have 3 more years to pay for that. Generally, these flyovers, in large part, are used to compare change over time so that you can see the construction, the demolition, and the changes to your built environment that have occurred. That's why you have subsequent flights. If we choose not to have that second flight, there is an out in the clause, and we can choose, opt out of it and not have to do that again. I'm confident that we'll want that second flight.
I would ask the city attorney's office to have the term of contract for 3 years instead of 6, and if we only have it for 3.
It's a 6-year contract we have to enter to get the pricing, and we do have the right to pull out of it if we want after 3.
Does it say that in here?
Yeah, you can pull out after 3 years. And the way, as Mr. Tucker's explained, the first class.
It is a contract. Do you need a copy of the
I've
contract?
been looking at it, it's good for 3 years. And you have a 3-year license associated with that first overflight. If you elect for the second flight, you renew for 3 years, which makes the 6-year total. But the license for the second will also be just 3 years for that particular second series of photographs. So that's why the license is different from the term of the contract. At least that's how I understand it. Is that how you understand it?
As far as, as far as I understand it, that's it. I didn't delve into the contract as much as I did the technical product they're offering.
But if we don't want to do a second flight, then after 3 years, it would be nothing.
We're free, we're free and clear if we don't wish to do a second flight.
It comes on the license, general license terms and conditions. So it doesn't obligate us to 6 years. They only gonna fly over once, and then the next 3 years they'll fly over again, once we pay them.
Yeah, and you may want to lock it in
Or we
because,
can basically, exclude that.
you may want to lock it in because.
That's what we're doing, locking it in.
If the price will probably go up considering the price of fuel and things like
I hope it go down.
that. We can always hope it will go down.
Any other questions?
Do you want the others to speak?
Huh?
Do you want the others to speak?
Well,
You want to hear some other departments speaking?
Go ahead.
All right, Addis, I've had a chance to review this product, and it can be a very great service to the fire department. I am in support of moving forward with this project.
On behalf of Chief Brennan Davis Jones and the Pine Bluff Police Department, we will say that there's some great use that we can do with this piece of equipment. It's one of them things that when we need it right then and be able to pull on it. If it's for a school's sake or for a hostage-type situation, it's a lot of things that it could bring to the Pine Bluff Police Department. So we ask that you all will consider that.
yes, sir.
And earlier, we did talk about that. Next year, it would actually be in the budget. It would still be coming from undesignated fund because their bottom line would change for that 2,100. Their bottom line would change. And I guess it'll stay that way for 3 years, and if we opt for 6 years, it'll be there too, right?
Mayor, I'd just like to add that when Mr. Tucker called me and asked me to sponsor this, I looked at the website and reviewed it. If any of you have seen Google Earth, But as you know, when you look at Google Earth, you can look down the street and different things, but that information is 3 to 7 years old most of the time that you're looking at it. What we're talking about here is being able to have today's information and our different departments being able to utilize it. I mean, I can imagine the police department having, like Chief Whitfield said, a major problem, and being able to go bang and look at the situation and know exactly where the, you know, the alleys are and where things are that might get in the way of attacking a problem. And same thing for inspection, fire department, and all of it. I think it's a great program and is very reasonably priced.
Thank you, sir. Hearing no other questions, all in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
No.
Any opposed?
No.
The motion carries 7-1.
Okay, have an ordinance eliminating fares for,
You have the emergency clause.
Oh, yes, emergency clause on it, yes.
okay, move for the emergency clause.
A roll call, please.
Alderwoman Holcomb.
Aye.
Alderman Drummond.
Aye.
Alderman Easterly.
Aye.
Alderman Stepps.
Aye.
Alderwoman Walker. Alderman Boyd.
Aye.
Alderman Brown. Alderman May.
Thank you. Motion carries 7-1.
Have an ordinance amending Article 5, Sections 19-131 and 19-137 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, respecting the organization of the review committee charged with reviewing the suspension, demotion, in rank and pay or dismissal of a firefighter or police officer, up for the first reading.
An ordinance amending Article 5, Sections 19-131 and 19-137 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, respecting the organization of the review committee charged with reviewing the suspension, demotion in rank and pay or dismissal of a firefighter or police officer.
Places on the calendar. Oh, you don't have to say.
Well, you left it laying there, we didn't know what you were.
Please on the calendar.
Who plays on the calendar? Vintage Commission. Okay, we have an ordinance eliminating fares for senior citizens utilizing the Pine Bluff Transit System, up for the first reading.
An ordinance eliminating fares for senior citizens utilizing the Pine Bluff Transit System.
Places on the calendar.
Second.
You have to move on to the next meeting.
Okay, we have a resolution accepting contribution of Boone Murphy House and property to the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas.
A resolution accepting contribution of the Boone Murphy House and adjacent property to the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas.
Move for adoption.
Second.
It's been moved and probably second that a resolution accepting contribution of the Boone Murphy House and properties to the City of Pine Bluff. Floor is open for discussion.
Okay, on that particular piece of legislation and that particular move, I am a member of, I was a member.
Still are. What do you mean?
No, it's kind of defunct. Of the Hecatoo Heritage Foundation, and we decided to donate the property to the City of Pine Bluff. And we also donated all of our liquid assets.
Yes.
Well, most of our liquid assets that we had.
That was all of them, I think.
No, we got a little bit. It was most of it.
No, they
And
gave us
we-
some money.
And we use the philosophy that John F. Kennedy used in his inaugural address when he said, "Ask not what you can do for your ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country." So instead of asking the city for money, we gave the city some money and some property, 2 nice little lots where they could restore the Civil War house. And there are some people who probably in opposition to this, but it is a part of the past. It was a Union headquarters. It housed the first governor of Arkansas. That may not mean anything to anyone, but
Al Clayton. He
yeah.
was the general
Right.
of the Union Army. He became the first governor of the state of Arkansas.
He knows a little of his Arkansas history.
You know me.
So, I think that was an opportunity to give the city something. And I'm proud of the fact that I was a part of that organization, and I worked to help raise some of that money. I didn't give all of them, but I helped to raise some of it. So,
All right.
we're not begging, we're giving. Thank you.
So we do appreciate that. And please, we will send information to the foundation, letting them know that we do appreciate the contributions that were made. Thank you.
All righty.
Technical question. This dated March 5th.
Yeah, I seen it in.
Meeting, that's today. They couldn't have met today and us had this last week.
Well, the
so-
person that typed it, that put that on. I think she did that because she knew that we were meeting today. I remember now, we don't get everything right, but that shouldn't be there.
That's-
Right, he's right.
and they should be
It's-
corrected date.
It should be another date, because we did not meet March. We did.
No, they just,
Had their meeting today.
No, we didn't have.
no, that just says dated and approved on that date.
When we had this last week, this couldn't have been,
No,
that's what I'm saying, this should reflect the date that they, whatever their minutes show that they,
At the end of the day, does it change anything?
No, it doesn't.
well, it doesn't, but I mean, it just,
But you know-
it needs to be correct.
I think it should be correct, but you know, some people always want to find a little technicality when you do something good.
Yeah.
No, I just, everybody else always point
We'll
out.
get it correct.
Yeah, it needs to be correct. You're
Yeah.
right.
And-
I think she put that on there because
It should have the information on how much money has been transferred to the city.
the
too.
money we've already made the
Made the
transfer.
transfer of the money.
I know, but that amount should be listed, it shouldn't be just,
No,
well, that wasn't even said in here.
that wasn't a part of the property. We gave the money at another time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was another time.
It
And
was another time.
they gave it to the historic
Okay.
commission.
Every time somebody do good.
Yeah, I want to nitpick.
That's right. All right, any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor of this resolution accepting contribution of the Newton Murphy House and property to the city of Pine Bluff, please let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposers? The motion carries 8-0. Thank you.
Oh, we have one other.
Yes.
I'm sorry about that. We got,
All right, Mr. Stips.
resolution,
We just had one house on there? No.
so we have a resolution providing for the placement of costs of correcting certain nuisances on tax books as delinquent taxes and collected as such.
A resolution providing for placement of costs of correcting certain nuisances on tax books and delinquent taxes and collected as such.
Move for adoption?
It's been moved and properly seconded that a resolution providing for placement of cost of correcting certain nuisance on the tax books as delinquent taxes and collecting as such. Any discussion, Mr. Stips? No, sir. Anyone else? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposers? The motion carries 8-0.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Moved and properly seconded, we adjourn the meeting. Thank all of you for attending.